I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on solution of EQAO test papers. Let me thank EQAO for helping students in Ontario and in providing an excellent assessment method so that high standards can be maintained. I'm also very thankful to them for sharing all these questions on their website. Now let us see how to solve these questions. Before that, let's go through the instructions. Now this is a test paper for grade 6 students, junior division mathematics, and we'll work on 2017 test paper. Now important thing is to read the instructions which says answering multiple choice questions like this. That means you have to fill in the whole circle. It should not be like all those things, right? Use pencils only, very important. So you have to use only pencils, and you should have a very good eraser in case you want to erase something and correct your answer, right? So, but here I'm going to use a pen mainly because I want it to be absolutely clear to you when you see it, right? But you are only required to use a pencil. Perfect. Now let's begin and solve these questions one by one. The very first question here is, let me adjust this. Okay. The very first question here is, what is the value of the underlined digit in 425380 where 2 is underlined, right? So 2 is underlined. We'll write zeros for all other 4 numbers, right? So it is 0, 0, 0, 0. So that is the value of underlined digit 2, which is our option number 3. Is that clear to you, right? So you have to completely fill the circle with pencil. I'm doing it in pen, so that's very clear to you to see, right? Question number 2 here is, which of the following lists the number of small squares used to make the next 3 figures of the growing pattern if it continues? So here we have 1 square, then 2 squares, 4 squares, 8 squares. That is figure number 4. So next 3 figures we have to figure out. How do you get that? Well, here we have 1 square, then we have 2 squares, then we have 4 squares, and then we have 8 squares. So that is figure number 1, 2, 3, and 4. What is happening here? So it is doubling, right? So we are doubling the digits. So next should be 16, 32, and 64. So the last option here is 16, 32, 64, which I am going to fill in. Perfect. So that is how we have to answer the questions. Now let's look into question number 3. Which statement is true for these 2 rectangular based prisms? So you have to see the dimensions very carefully. The big one here has the dimensions of 20 times 8 times 10. The smaller one has half, 10, 4, and 5. So all 3 are half. We have to consider these statements. The statements are, figure 1 has half the volume of figure 2. Figure 1 has twice, that is figure 1, so it has more volume, right? But how many times more? Is it twice the volume, 4 times the volume, or 8 times the volume? Well, the volume is length times width times height, correct? So each is 2 times, right? So doubling each one of them will give you 8 times the answer, right? So therefore the option is the last option here, which says figure 1 has 8 times the volume of figure 2. So I hope that is absolutely clear, right? Now let's move on and take the other questions. Question number 4. This bar graph shows data on the favorite fruits of grade 6 students at school. Now orange, apple, grapes, and the numbers are given on the vertical axis. Now we have to, which of these represents the same data as the bar graph, right? So in bar graph, we have how many oranges? We have 15 oranges. Apples are 10, and we have 25 grapes. So we have to figure out which one is showing the same data, right? So the options are, we have a line graph here Well, the apples are shown as 5, not 10, so it doesn't work. We have a leaf and stem which shows 15 as one number, 20 and 25 the other. Well, that is not correct. We don't have anything called 20 here, right? The third one is a pictograph which says oranges are 15. This represents 5, right? So it is 5, 5, and 5. That makes 15, and this is 10, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25. So that is perfect, correct? So you could answer this one, circle it properly. So that is how we are going to answer these questions. Let's move on and take the next question now. Question number 5. This table shows information about some students who walk to school. The number of students for grade 6 is missing. So this number is missing, which we need to figure out. Which is closest to the percentage of students who walk to school and are in grade 6? We need to write percentage, okay? So how do you find that missing number? We are given the total. So from 65, we'll take away these two numbers, right? So you can take away 10 first. You get what? You get 55, and now you take away 18. So when you take away 18, the other number for grade 4 students, what do you get? 15 take away 8 is 7. Then from 4, it is 3, 37. So percentage is this number 37. So this is 37, correct? We have to write this as percentage. So 37 over total, which is 65. We'll divide this by 65 and then times it with 100. Well, 37 is kind of half of 65, right? So 50% is the right answer. So that is how we are going to fill this up as the right answer. Is that clear to you? Question number 6. Which value of b makes the equation this true? So we are given b divided by 4 equals to b minus 12. You have to substitute these values one by one to find the answer, right? So if I divide 16 by 4, I get 4, and 16 minus 12 is also 4. So that works for me, right? So what I did was I divided 16 by 4. You have to try each number one by one. You get 4. That is your left side. The right side here, sometimes we write right hand side, is 16 minus 12, which is also 4. If you substitute 16 in it, does it make sense to you, right? So we get our answer option 3 for this particular question. Here is question number 7. A shape is shown. Which is the image of the shape after it is rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise? That means like this, right? Counterclockwise 90 degrees. So it will become kind of flat, right? So it will be kind of like this, right? So which is the last option? So first you think about what the answer should be and then try to match it. So that then it becomes very simple, right? So let's move on and take question number 8 now. Now this is open response question. Now in answering this question, you have to explain your strategy. That is extremely important. 3 packages have masses of 0.85 kg, 9.4 kg and 23 kg. What is the total mass of the package in grams, not in kg? So let's add them up. So 0.85, then we have 9.4. We can write a 0 here, and then we have 23, right? So placeholders, let's write zeros here. And all this is in kgs, correct? Remember that. So you're going to get your answer also in kg. So when you add them up, right, just add them up, you get 5, 8 and 4 is 12. You get 1 here, 10 and 3, 13, 3, 1 here. So that gets you 33.25. Now to make it grams, you have to multiply by 1000. Multiplying by 1000 means moving decimal 3 places, right? So one more here, correct? So what you get here is 33 kilos, right? 250 grams. So that is your answer. Is that clear to you? So that is how you're going to write down your answer. Now you need to write this answer right at the end of this sheet also, right? This is very important. 33,250. Correct? I hope that is absolutely clear. Now, in any open response, you have to show all your work to get full marks or better grades, right? Question number 9. Which of these experiments has an outcome with a greater theoretical probability than the others? This is also an open response question. Experiment A. Rolling a 4 or greater on the number cube labeled 1 to 6. So 4 or greater means we have 3 options, correct? 4 or greater. So the probability will be how much? In this case, the probability will be 3 out of 6, which is half, correct? In the next case, experiment B, spinning the arrow on this spinner and the arrow landing on an even number. Even numbers are 2, 4 and 2 in this. So there are 3 even numbers, right? Out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So that is it. Now this probability is more than half. Now half could be written as 0.5. Decimal numbers are always good to compare, right? So 30 divided by 6, you could do like this, right? 30, that is 3.0 divided by 5 gives you 0.6. So that is 0.6, which is higher. Now experiment C, selecting a marble from this bag that has an odd number written on it. So how many numbers are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are total 10 numbers. How many of these are odd? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 50% are odd, right? So it is 0.5. Clearly, the highest probability is for the spinner, and that is what you're going to write. Now you can justify your answer since the probability in spinner is equal to 0.6, higher than others, which is 0.5. Is it okay? So you write the outcome of experiment C, it has the probability greater than the others, right? So that is how we are going to answer our open response questions. So I hope this concept is clear. So you have to provide reasons for whatever you do. That is very important. Let's move on and take the next question now. Question number 10. Now here we are given a set of blocks, right? This figure is made up of 12 cubes. Draw the top, front and side view of the figure on the following grid. Now this is a very important question, and always that type of question is there in some form or the other. I'd like you to have a good look at it and then answer. Now top view we have to draw here. We are looking from the top. So when you look from the top, you get one square, and on the right hand side only one more. On the left hand side we get 1, 2, 3 squares. Do you see that part? And one is protruding outside. So we have 5. So let's say I begin from here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 squares. So we just make these 5 squares from the top, correct? And then if you see, notice 1, 2, third, which is the middle one, 1, 2, 3 is actually protruding out. So we have one in this one, right, which is protruding out. So we are showing this here. Do you see that? So this is your one alone, which is sitting here. So that gives you the top view. Is that clear to you? Right? Now let's look into the front view. That is, we are looking from this side, which is the front view, right? So what do you notice? Well, here in the front, we have got 2, then we have 2, and then we have 3, right? So that is how the front view could be drawn, correct? So when you look for it, so you have got 2, 2, but you have got 1, 2, 3 going one above it, right? So, okay, so let's just start from here. So you have 2 here. Okay, so, okay. And then here we have 3. So you're looking from this side, which is the front. So it goes like this. 3, and then it is one more higher here. However, this is like at this stage. Do you see that part? So this is this portion. So we have drawn these three now, correct? These three I have drawn here. Now what you see is one hanging out at this stage. Do you see how we could actually draw it? So this one is hanging out. Do you see that portion? Perfect. So that kind of helps you to understand how we're trying to figure this out, right? And now we're going to look into the side view. So let me push the page a bit in front for you so that you can see what I'm going to draw. Now let us first understand the side view and then I'm going to draw it, right? So if you see the side view, that is to say, we are now looking from this side. So when you look from this side, you get 2 at the bottom, and on this side, we get 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we'll draw 4 and 2 in the bottom, correct? So from this side, you get here 4, right? So we get 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. And then from the side, when you look at it, you see these 2 in the bottom, right? So that means it will be kind of like this. Do you understand, right? So that is how we are going to sketch the 3 views for the given set of 12 cubes. Perfect. So that is our answer. Is that clear to you? Let's move on and take question number 11. Number 11. Packages of flags are on sale for Canada Day at 2 stores. Store A is selling a package of 5 flags for $6.95. Store B is selling a package of 3 flags for $4.80. How much cheaper is one flag in store A than at store B? So how much means we have to find the difference, correct? So let's find the rate first. First, let's find the rate. So rate in store A is what? To find the rate, we have to divide the dollar amount by the number of flags, right? So it is cost of one flag, right? So 5 flags is this much. So we have to divide the dollar amount, which is 6.95, by the number 5. So it goes 1 times, which is 5. So you take away, so you get 1.9. So you could take this 3 times. So it is 15, correct? Now it comes 45. 45 goes 9 times. So in store A, the cost is in dollars. It could be written as $1.39 per flag. Do you understand? So that is the dollar divided by the flag. Now let's do for store B, right? So let's now do for store B. Now in case of store B, we have to divide $4.80 by 3. So we get 3 times 1 is 3, and we get 1.8, which is 6. And that is 0, right? So 60. So here the cost in dollars is 1.60. So A is cheaper. Cheaper by how much? We have to find the difference now, right? So let's find the difference. 1.60 take away 1.39. So the difference here is from 10, if you take away 9, you get 1. From 5, you get 2. 21 cents, right? So the cost here is cheaper by 21 cents. So that's what I'm going to write here. It is 0.21 cheaper than in store B. Is that clear to you, right? So that is how we are going to explain and then write our answer. Perfect. Let's move on and take question number 12. Here is question number 12. Which quadrilateral has 2 acute angles and only 1 line of symmetry? Well, here is a trapezoid, which is isometric trapezoid, where you have 2 acute angles, right? And the line of symmetry is right there. So option 1 is the right option. So once you get the right option, you need not even see the other options, correct? Let's move on to question number 13. This table shows the heights of 6 players on a volleyball team. If the mean height of 7 players is 128, that means 128 is the mean of 7 players. which of the following is Peter's height? So Peter's height is missing from here. We need to figure out what is Peter's height. How can you find it? Well, mean means average. So average of all 7 is 128. So what should be the total? Total should be 7 times 128, right? So let's multiply 128 by 7 and get our answer. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 2 is 14 and 5, 19. 7 times 1 is 7 and 1, 8. So 896 is the total. Now, we should also add the height of 6 players which is given to us. And we'll take away that from 896 to figure out height of Peter, right? So let's add this. 8 plus 2, 10, and 6, 16, plus 8, 24, 6, 30, and 0, 30, right? 0, 3. 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 780. So let's take away 780. What do we get? 6, 9, and 8, 1. And that is also 1. So 116 is the last option, right? So that is the last option, 116, which is the right answer. Perfect. So that is how we are going to answer question number 13. Let's move on and take the next question. Question number 14. The first 3 terms of pattern A are shown on the grid. So these are your first 3 terms on the grid. Now, these are the term numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So for 1 it is 3, then 7, 11. So it is like this. 1, for 1 it is, 3. And then for 2 it is 7. And then it is 11. So it is going up by 4 each time, right? So 15 and 4, 19 and so on. Now let's read what is given to us. Okay. The pattern continues to increase by the same amount each time. The rule for pattern B is start at 9, add 3 to get the next term. Which statement is true? Now we have 4 statements. Statement 1 is the 7th term in both patterns is 27. Pattern A will reach a term with a value of 15 first. The terms in both patterns are only odd numbers. Pattern A will always have a term with a greater value than B at the same term number. Well, let's figure it out. So it's good to write down the terms in the pattern B also, right? So in pattern B, it says start at 9. So it starts at 9, add 3 each time. So it is 12, then it is 15. And first option is the 7th term in both patterns is 27. Let's go up to the 7th term at least, right? So, okay, so 1, 2, 3. We are just adding 3 each time, right? So it is 18. So it is times table for 18. And 21, 24, and 27. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is indeed the 7th term. So that works. Let's see here. Here the pattern is going up by 4, correct? So let's add 4. We get 23 and then we get 27. Is it the 7th term? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It is. So therefore the option 1 is correct. 27 is the 7th term in both the patterns, right? Now let's move on to question number 15. We are almost at the end. One more sheet to go. Which measurement is best estimate of the volume of liquid in the container? So it is 1 liter. We only have that much, which seems to be half of half, right? It is half of half. That means quarter, right? So we're looking for quarter of a liter. Liter is 1000. You have to divide 1000 by 4 to get the answer, which is 250. So 250 milliliters is the right answer. Question number 16. There are a total of 75 students in 3 classes. Each class has same number of students. So that means 75 divided by 3 in each class, right? Each student needs 2406 pencil sticks for a science project. How many how many popsicle sticks does each class need? Oh, so each one needs 2406 popsicles. So let's find how many students in each class. Dividing 75 by 3, we go 3 times 2 is 6, and then it's 15, 25, 3 quarters, right? Now, there are so many popsicles for each student. So we'll multiply 2406 by 25, correct? So that is what we are going to do. Now see, multiplication by 25 is very simple. You could also think about 100 over 4, right? This is one way of doing it. However, we are going to straight away multiply. So when you times it with 5, let's write it like this, right? So when you times with 5, you get 30 here, and 5 times 4 is 20, 0, 2. 5 times 2, 10, and 2, 12. Now double the numbers, put 0, 6, 2, 12, 2, 4, 8, and this is 4. Let's add them up. So we get what? We get 10 and 6. 6, 0, 150, which is the first option for us, correct? So that is the answer. So that's how you could do it. So in this, you learn about patterns and about liters. It's very important to understand that 1 liter is equals to 1000 milliliter, right? So 1/4 of a liter will be quarter, right? To 250 milliliters. That is important to understand. Let's move on and take the last few questions. Question number 17. This table shows the number of marbles in a bag by color. So blue 1, green 3, red 2, yellow 4. One marble is randomly selected from the bag. What is the probability of not selecting a yellow marble? Means either one of these, correct? So whenever it's a probability, you have to find what is the total number, right? So total is 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 2, 6, 6 plus 4, 10. So 10 is the total which comes in the denominator, right? Now, what is the probability of not selecting? That means selecting others, which are 6, right? So 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. So we have the last option, 0.6, which is the correct option, correct? So you'll fill in this number, 0.6. Now all the filling should have been done by pencil. We are doing it with this pen so that you could see it very clearly. That's the whole idea, right? Now, the last question here is, which of the following expressions represent the volume of a triangular prism? So that means we have to find area of triangle, right? And then multiply it by its depth, right? Or you can say height. We call it depth, okay? So area of triangle is half of 14 times 6. So we get half of 14 times 6 and then times 3, right? So that is which will give you the expression for volume, right? So we have to multiply all these numbers. So which one is correct? Well, let's go through it. So we have half of base into height. So it is, first one is 6 times 14 times 3. Well, that doesn't work. Then we have 6 plus, no. Then we have 14 times 6 divided by 2 times 3. That perfectly matches with our thinking, correct? So whenever you have a question, think about the answer first, right? And then match your answer. They wrote 14 times 6, then divided by 2 times 3. It is one and the same thing. Perfect. That is how you get your answer. So I hope you enjoyed the learning process of how to solve such test papers. Now, EQAO is a very important test which needs some extended reading. So I'll provide you with some videos, especially for isometric views and to work with area and volume. That will help you to understand how to perform better. Even patterns is a very good thing to recall. I hope that makes sense. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for watching and all the best.